Good morning, chat. My name is Penbu. I'm the programming, puzzle gaming, and music making VTuber on Linux, and for once, we are actually programming. I haven't been streaming for a week because I've been out of town, but it's also been quite a while since we've done any actual programming streams. Today, I mean, it's CSS. Debatable whether that's programming or not, but it is technical enough. We are going to be working with code. See here. I do actually have chat in 3 places now. Atlas Chainsteel, Arcane Alchemist, and 539, welcome in. See if my half-asleep brain will hold any information from today. Well, even if it doesn't, at least the VOD's here. You can come back and see where we're at. But yeah, feels good to be back streaming. I wasn't expecting to stream today, much less do a programming stream, but here we are. Hope everything is going well. But as you can see here, on the side and in the opening, everyone's CSS is broken, and I assume Google had something to do with it. And it seems like it's pretty drastic from what it looks like here, because everything is just broken. We are going to be working off of this. So this is the CSS that I have in my overlays. It's also linked to in the description for anyone who is watching the VOD and doesn't have access to chat for some reason. Yeah, when you talk, shows up in 3 places, and you'll there's a reason why I have this in 3 places. We'll get there. So the top one is actually my normal one. The bottom one is the one I put in especially for this stream, so that I don't have to keep going back and forth between the scenes that actually have the overlay, or sorry, the other style of chat that I have, and then this one is the one that's actually in my browser, and we can do inspection on all that stuff. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to put this up on OBS. Is it this one? This one. For anyone whose chat is broken, what they're doing is they have this this browser source. Actually, I may as well show this over here. So they have this browser source here, and then in their properties, there's this custom CSS box, or you can plop in a bunch of CSS and it'll make it look different. CSS is the web technology that allows you to style your HTML. So HTML gives you your structure, and then your CSS gives you how it looks. And the idea behind that is that without changing the HTML, you can make your page look different just by changing the CSS. That's not necessarily true. That wasn't necessarily true before CSS came around. Back then, HTML had presentational elements and presentational attributes. So to change how the page looked, you had to change the HTML, but now you can just swap in a style sheet and it can look different. But this is what we're going to be working with today. I'm going to have this box here, but I am also going to be working in a code editor. So I do have this this gist here cloned in my local, so that we can actually work with it in an editor. And yes, if you didn't know, just are on GitHub are all just Git repos, and you can clone them. They're probably going to fix the simple one first. You know, this is the nice thing about programming your own overlay stuff. It means you can just fix it instead of having to wait for somebody else to fix it, because you are the one who's fixing it. But yeah, this might be a short stream. Depends on how hard it is to do this. I don't expect it to be too hard. But if you've never seen CSS before, I hope this is big enough. The 3 main components of a CSS, I guess, yeah, 3 main components of CSS. You have your selectors, which tells CSS what you want to style. You have the properties, which tells CSS what are how shall I put it? What exactly to style? What type to style? So what property to style? I guess without using property. So in this case, like the background color, or the border, for example, like what part of the element you want to style, and then the value, which is what exactly it is that you want it to look like. What we're concerned about here are all the selectors. We have to figure out what selector changed, and then figure out what the new selectors are. Because without the selectors, if CSS can't find the right selector, it can't style that element. It can't style that element to make it look the way we want it to. And I assume that is going to be pretty high up because the entire thing is broken. So we're just going to have to go into here, and then figure out what it is that we have here. So this here is the DevTools. I'm using Firefox. And as you can see here, as I hover over these elements, they are being highlighted in blue. So for example, if I inspect a single chat message here, that chat message is in blue. If we go up higher in the tree, more and more things get highlighted. So we're going to figure out, well, one, I have to remember what exactly each of these things do, and then figure out figure out what's broken and then how to fix it. So one of these things, notice that we have the live chat here, and then we have the chat bar down here. Over in the overlay, we have both of them, but in the signed out mode. That's because OBS is not authenticated, and as far as I can tell, you can't import any cookies into it. But in my normal overlay, those are all hidden, so we got to figure out what those are. So what functionality did we lose when it updated? Sorry if you already said. Basically, the entire styling. So for my overlay, I think I got rid of the avatars, got rid of this top bar, got rid of this bottom bar, and then for the other style that I have it looking different. Actually, I should pull up an example. I was going to do that, and then I forgot. So this here was an example for the last stream that we did. We were playing F099, and if you look over here at on the right side, right, this is what chat normally looks like. And if we go to this portion, maybe at the end, this is what the other style looked like. And so that looks very different from what we have right now. What we have right now is what the default YouTube chat looks like. So we're going to try to get back to this style here and this style here. Okay. Yeah, and you'll notice that pretty much every other VTuber either has their chat hidden because it's broken, or they're just putting up with the default. But we have the power to fix ours, so we're going to do that. Where do we start here? One thing we can do is we can do a look for where we have display none, because that's what actually hides things. We have display none on a few things here. We have it on the live chat header renderer, live chat viewer engagement message renderer. I don't remember what this is. Actually, no, I think that might be this one here. And then YT image shadow. Don't remember what that is. And then the ticker. The ticker, I think, is, for me, it doesn't apply because I don't have monetization, but I think if you have monetization, those are where all the super chats show up. And then the other parts we have here, display none for visible banners, YT live chat banner, renderer, header. I think this has to do with pinning or something. I don't quite remember that. But we can test that out. And then the other place where we have display none, I'm ignoring the Twitch portion here, so I'm using the same CSS file for both Twitch and YouTube, so I can just copy them around without having to manage more files. And thankfully, all the selectors are pretty independent. And no, independent is not the word I'm looking for. They don't overlap, so I can have both styles in the same file. Reaction control panel is also display none, but so that reaction control panel is this thing here, the one where you have the little small hearts. I have that. I used to have that enabled in my very early streams, but I got rid of it because it was blocking chat. And you can still get the reactions. So, for example, if I do this, it should show up. It should still show up there, even though the control button itself is hidden. But we'll test that out afterwards too. So now we just got to figure out where exactly it is that we're okay. Which display none are we missing? And one thing we can do to figure this out is just go through all of these selectors and then see if they still exist. Now, I did try this a little bit before the stream, and some of them don't exist. But here we're gonna figure out which ones. Do this. Do this. And maybe do this. And maybe we'll just put it here. We'll clear this just to make it a little bit nicer. Okay. And we're going to start with the Windows CSS. So that'll be the top one in my overlay over here. That would be the simpler one to do. Panel. So we're going to start with. We're going to be using the query selector. So normally this would be document.query selector, and we only need the one, not all. But if you're in the console, there's a shortcut. You can use $. And so this is basically a function that takes in a CSS selector, and it'll try to find that element. So in this case, panel pages, and if it shows up with an entry here, then that means that it exists. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't exist anymore. So panel pages is good. YT live renderer, that exists. YT live chat viewer engagement message renderer, whatever this was, that still exists too. YT image shadow exists, and then picker, which also still exists. Okay, so that's all probably still good. Oh. Okay, we're gonna go through this, but I have a suspicion of what this might be. We don't need this. Visible banners, YT live chat render header. We're gonna see if this exists. Probably not. Okay, so the header is still there. And so that would be this one here, I think. We're gonna. Oh, actually no, because this is under visible banners, which might not exist for me because I don't have anything. So maybe we'll try to pin this and then see if we still get that. Yeah, so that's no longer a thing. Is this a thing? Yes, this is a thing. But there's no header anymore. So we're gonna go to this. And then that'll show up in our elements view. And then we're going to see what's inside of here. Banner container, ID header. Oh, okay, so I think things have changed a little bit. So I think what happened was they added a banner container, and all of these used to be at the top level. I'm not sure why I did it this way. This character here, the greater than sign, says the element with the ID header has to be a direct child of the YT live chat banner renderer. But it is no longer a direct child. It is now a grandchild with the banner container as the direct child. So we want to change that so that that's now valid. You know what? I'm going to put this in here, so we can put this in the style editor to change things, or to... What am I saying? Sorry, it's been a week. It's been more than a week. Chat windows, CSS. We're going to put this in here. And then we're going to add a style sheet here. And then we're going to put this in here. Wait a minute, hold up, what? This is what we expect it to look like, for the most part. So this actually does work, and then it's just OBS not working? No, this can't be right. This can't be right. Hold up. Yes, bigger text. So that you can see it on stream better. But this is... Okay, there's something a little bit wrong here. Okay, first we're going to do this though. So that's what I would expect to happen. So we can at least fix that. And I do the other one as well. Message render, hide visible banners. Because they're mostly the same. We're going to commit that. For YT pinned items. Banner pinned items now are now inside a container. Now this has probably been broken for a while actually, and are no longer direct children. Because they did change. I remember them changing this this style here. It used to be different, but I remember them changing this quite a while ago, like a few weeks ago. So that's probably been broken for a while. I just haven't been streaming for a while, and also I haven't pinned anything, so that's probably why I didn't notice that. But this is now very curious, because if this works, then that means it should work in OBS, but it clearly isn't. So why is that? So this is the right URL. And if we go into here, right, this is the right URL. And to my knowledge, there aren't any redirects happening. Well, we can test that out. So we do curl, curl I, so that it won't actually give us any of the actual HTML that comes back. And so we get this. If this does a redirect, then we should get a location somewhere, but we don't. A location header. Yeah, I don't see one here. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and cut it. That's okay. So that should reload the chat over there. And then we're going to reload the chat in here. And it's still the same thing. You know what? I'm gonna see if anyone else has figured this out. YouTube chats CSS broken. Because we're not the only ones who have their chat broken. Just registered, comment on this issue, was working literally fine yesterday, stopped working today. I have not updated my OBS, and it seems like YouTube would be the problem, but I don't see this happening. Okay, this is interesting. We're already here, even though I only put this up like an hour ago. YouTube new chat. This would have been chat templates. This is 7 years ago. That's not relevant. Is this recent? This is 4 years ago. Also not relevant. Okay. Apparently this is too new for people to have figured this out yet. So we might actually be one of the first ones to figure it out. Possibly. But, okay, what gets me here is that this does work. And if we put in the other one, OBS chat overlay. PB copy, by the way, is just an alias here. Or I guess it's not a script here. PB copy, no, it's still an alias. PB copy is the command on the Mac to work with the clipboard. But in my case, the command was useful, and we have Excel here. It's just a lot more useful to type in PB copy. Very new, never seen a problem with a forum post from 35 minutes ago would be the top result. Yeah. Okay, and so this is exactly what it should look like too. Okay, this is really weird. So apparently what I'm seeing here is that the CSS does apply. Nothing's changed with OBS. YouTube seemingly is still okay if this is still applying properly. Okay, alright, what do we have? Then that means that something with how OBS connects changed, but I haven't updated OBS yet. Or anything that OBS would rely on. Hold on, let's try the other one. That would be this one here. Up this. Put it back. I don't expect any change here. Yeah, okay. So unfortunately, I can't go in and inspect what's in here. I can't right click and inspect the elements, so I have no idea what exactly is happening. But the CSS apparently does work, because if we're seeing this, right, then that means that it should still be there. But we can go ahead and figure out what else we have here. There's nothing else here that's display none, except reaction control panel. But that, considering that we don't see it here, that does apply. So we go down here, reaction control panel, and it is there. We do see something. Oh, this is licensed under the 0 BSC, by the way, so if you want to use this for your own stream, or use parts of it, feel free to just take it. It's almost pretty much equivalent to being under the public domain. So, if the CSS works, I haven't updated anything in OBS, and this is happening everywhere. So I'm guessing it does have something to do with some sort of YouTube updates. But what I don't understand. Okay, hold on. I need to try something out. Let us make a new browser source. I'm gonna show this on screen. We're creating a new browser source. Call a browser, whatever. Fine. 1024 by 768, just so we have more room to work with. Let's go to duckduckgo.com. And we can go interact with this. I need to get to a URL, basically. User agents. Oh, I'm gonna hide this actually. Or I guess I can't hide it. Alright, fine. I'm gonna put this over here so you can see what I'm typing. Although you can see it in the on the thing anyway. What is my user agent here? Your user agent is Mozilla this thing. So if we see, so this is Mozilla 5 Linux Apple WebKit from OBS. We're going to take this. And then we are going to change our user agent here to OBS's user agent. And then see what we get back. Is there any way we could add more windows? Feels like there aren't enough yet. Oh, I can add more windows if we really want to. I'm gonna put this back here, and I'm going to hide this, and we don't need this anymore. And add a bunch of eyes everywhere. And where did that one go? I kind of lost it. Oh, whatever. So what we're gonna do here is we're going to use the user agent for OBS and see if YouTube comes back with anything different, because maybe YouTube is doing some sort of user agent sniffing and it might return something different for OBS versus other browsers. And then we refresh, which would be pretty awful, but if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. Put this in there like that. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna shrink that a little bit more so we can see it. Okay, and then now we're gonna try to reapply this. When we refresh, the style sheet did disappear because it is only specific to that session. Definitely been noticing differences on YouTube using DuckDuckGo as my daily driver for browsing. It's possible because I know Google has been doing differences with like different browsers. So if you're not using a Chrome variant, they're probably trying to serve you something worse. When did they change things up? I think people have been noticing it since yesterday, maybe today, or it sounds like things have been okay. They were okay yesterday, but pretty recently, I'd say. But Mr. E, welcome in. Okay, so we're gonna put in our style sheet here, and it works. It works. So presumably YouTube is not showing anything different for OBS based on the user agent, which is good because it means that we don't have to deal with any of that. Another angle that we can take a look at, which shouldn't matter if we're seeing this work properly. All of these elements you see here, like YT image shadow or anything with a dash here, like this, YT live chat text message renderer, these are all what's called custom components, or web components you might have heard. And something that might happen in web components is that you have what's called the shadow DOM. And the shadow DOM is basically almost like a container that hides what the contents of the stuff that's inside. And if the web component does use a shadow DOM, it means that you need to use special shadow piercing selectors to get through that. It's basically a way to protect the inside from being affected from the outside without explicitly doing so. CSS build shady. Now the question is, does this use a shadow DOM? I don't think so, because otherwise we'd see we'd see shadow here somewhere. See if I can pull up an example. It's MDN shadow DOM. Shadow roots, shadow DOM. See if we can find an example here. Hopefully it does. Okay. Do I need to turn on scripts or something? Okay, so we can take a look at that. That should be something we can do. Dock this to the bottom so we can see that. We can select this. So this one's not in the shadow DOM. But this one, as you see here, we have a shadow root. And then we have the elements inside the shadow root. So if this component on the YouTube side were to use a shadow DOM, we would see that as shadow roots as we see it here. But we don't see that, so this is all just inside the element itself. Okay, now this has gotten pretty tough. Here I was thinking that all it was just a bunch of selectors changing, but apparently that's not the case. Do any of you have any ideas, by the way? So to recap what we have here, I've not upgraded OBS. YouTube applying the style sheet to the browser's dev tools does apply the styles as intended. OBS is presumably not, or sorry, YouTube is presumably not returning anything different based on the OBS user agent. As far as I can tell, well, actually I already said this, but the selectors don't seem to have changed because we do see the styles being applied with the styles in the browser. Is there a way to make OBS use a different browser? As far as I know, no. So OBS, at least on Linux, is using I don't know exactly what component it is, but it's based on the Chromium engine. So it is using Chromium under the hood. Have we observed any custom rules doing anything in OBS? So OBS, as far as I know, doesn't have any additional CSS that it applies except for what you have in the box. As for things outside of that aren't CSS, I'm not aware of any. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, you're right, there might be something. So if we go into a game browser here, right, we have, oh, but I already turned it off. So OBS has these options here where the page could potentially have access to certain OBS information. So you either set it to no access to OBS, which for pages that don't need it, you really should have it off. Read access to OBS status information, read access to user information, basic access to OBS, which save replay buffer, etc. Advanced access to OBS, change scene, startup, replay buffer, whatever. And full access to OBS, start, stop streaming without warning, etc. Now these may be appropriate if you're using, let's say, a OBS web remote. Or some other plugin that's, or some other web-based plugin that interacts with OBS. Something like Brekkie. Brekkie.stream, was it? Yeah. Josh's tool for OBS. Really cool tool. I haven't really used it, but it was shown off in SSL3. And it looks very promising, and I think it is usable now. I'm not doing that today though. But definitely worth a shot if you want to make very easy work of making overlays and whatnot. But yeah, okay, so that goes nowhere. Refresh the cache, nothing. Okay, because I don't have anything here. So yeah, OBS is not. OBS is not presenting itself to the page, or like giving itself access to the. Isn't giving the page access to itself, so that can't be it. However, what else can we have a look at? We can look at this through a private window. See if we get anything different. So new style sheet. And that's still the same. Okay. I'm stumped. I don't know what's happening here. Because if it's not the YouTube selectors, I haven't updated OBS, so presumably nothing has changed on that side. But maybe there has been something. Well, okay, hold on. Clearly something has changed because now it's not working and it used to. And the thing that would have most likely changed is YouTube. But we're putting this in here and there's nothing there. Oh, okay, hold on. What if we do something else? What if we put in a different site that's not YouTube? Let's say... Oh, I don't have my Twitch chat here. Oh, we can try something else. I can pull up my Twitch chat. That is an option. Okay, let's open up a browser source. Open up a browser source and make it the same dimensions as this here, the chat overlay browser. Properties, 304 and 386. 304, 386. And then we're going to pull out the Twitch chat. So for those of you who don't know, I am on Twitch, but YouTube is still my main platform. I have Twitch available for things like online multiplayer games, because people who recognize that you're a streamer are more likely to check to see if you're live on Twitch than YouTube. So it's there for discoverability. But Twitch also allows you to have a chat window. Offline chat window. We're going to take this. And we're going to put this in here. If you have a Twitch account, feel free to spam stuff in this chat so that we can have something to look at. I will probably be doing the same. If I can find what we're looking at here. And then we want to pull this one up. We have that. Make sure that we have stuff in here. Test. And then we also want to make sure that we have our CSS here. So we will use the overlay CSS because this is more distinctive and it will show that it actually works. And I think it does. Okay, so it's definitely on YouTube's side because Twitch works. We have emotes on the Twitch side, by the way. Unfortunately, YouTube emotes are locked behind monetization, and we're not anywhere close to monetization yet. But okay, so Twitch works, which means there's definitely something up with the YouTube side that's making it fail. So then we ask the question again, are the selectors actually still current? Are they actually still valid? Maybe next month. What are the okay, hold on, let me check with the not this one. Just making sure that I'll show it on stream, but I don't just making sure that there's nothing here that I shouldn't be showing. I think we're probably okay. Alright, I guess I have to bring this over here. This is where we're at right now. I got 84 subscribers, we need 500. And then we need 3,000 public watch hours. We're at almost 400. So we're about a tenth of the way through for watch hours, and then about a fifth of the way through for subscribers. Quite a long way to go. But maybe if I actually start posting on Reddit, that'll go up a bit more. I just haven't had a chance to really do any marketing. And also, I haven't really been putting out any shorts either. Because video editing takes time, and time is not something that I have. Yeah, marketing is hard. And it's especially, not to play the male VTuber card here, but it is a lot more difficult to gain traction as a male VTuber, because female VTubers are understandably more popular. But I'm here to put out content, so as long as I have a decently active chat like we have here, that's mostly good enough for me. Okay, and what do we have? Okay, so are we actually sure that these? Okay, I don't know if I can trust this in the browser. Okay, we're gonna try Chrome. Chromium. We're gonna try Chrome because this is going to be a lot closer to what OBS sees. I'll make this bigger too. We go to sources. And I actually don't know how to add a new style sheet here. So we're just gonna put one down here. Add new insert. Where's my insert elements? Okay, fine. Edit as HTML. We're gonna manually add a style sheet here at the very bottom. And we're going to put in this here. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be put at the bottom. I'm going to enter. That doesn't look good. What happened? Because the style sheet is obviously there. Oh. Is YouTube doing some A/B testing here? Okay, we're going to put that back. And we are going to go back to where we have here. So we're going to go through that exercise again where we try to find whether these elements exist or not. So panel pages. That exists. Okay. I'm going to put OBS back. YT live chat renderer. That exists. Where's my... Here it is. Whatever this is. That also exists. That also still exists. Okay, and the ticker, I believe also still exists. Yes, okay. We'll find the next display none. That'll be this one here. That's for this here, which I guess does exist, but it's not relevant to what we were looking for. And then same thing here. This exists, but it's not relevant. And so then it would, but this is the scroller, which is not really all that relevant either. That's not going to do anything, because we need to get rid of this. Okay, so that the contents there exists. That's fine. And then the last one that has display none on it also exists. Wait a minute, sorry, this is... I've been putting things in the wrong spot. We need it over here. But also doesn't really matter because... Actually, no, it kind of does matter. Yeah, that's there. Go back. It kind of doesn't because it's just the scroll bar. That's still there too. Okay. So if everything's here, then why does the script not apply? Or why does the style sheet not apply? Maybe this has to be at the... Well, it shouldn't need to be in the heads. None of this is HTML. Go back, go back, go back. So for those of you who aren't familiar with HTML, there are two major elements inside of the root element. So everything is contained under the HTML root element. Inside of those, there is the head and the body. The head is all the stuff that contains all the essentially metadata, and the body is what contains the actual content. The head doesn't render any content on the page, so you never see anything that's in there. You will maybe see a title. There's a title tag in here somewhere that shows up in the like in the tab title or the browser title, but that's about as much as you see for content in the head. Oftentimes you'll get style sheets and scripts in the head, and that'll render something inside of the body, but it doesn't render anything directly inside. So we're gonna add another style sheet there. We're gonna add that there, and it does work. Okay, so presumably nothing changed between... Wait, what? What this tells me is that we're seeing the same thing that we're seeing in Firefox that we're seeing in Chrome. Where do you get started learning this? So I've actually been doing web programming for, what is it, about 15 years now, maybe more, probably more. These days, I think the go-to resource is MDN. They do have a tutorial somewhere in here. Guides, overview, this stuff here. I'll drop a link to that in the chat. Over here. I personally haven't gone through this myself, but MDN as a reference resource is pretty good. But obviously as a reference you need to know what you're doing. W3 schools is where I did most of my learning back in the day. It used to be a lot worse. I hear it's gotten better. So take that as you will. I know I picked up a few bad habits from learning from the site, but this was also like 15 years ago. Actually, the way I first started learning HTML and stuff was a book called HTML, Netscape and HTML by, no, not the new one, not the new one. Yeah, I mean, this is the book here. Netscape and HTML Explorer by Urban A. Lejeune. I read this. This was published in 1995, and I read that in like 2008, 2009. So I learned very, very outdated information right from the get-go. Let's see if I can find a higher resolution art. Nobody? Alright, fine. I don't think I have the book anymore. I think my dad threw it away. Recycled it or something. Yeah. It's quite the book. And it contains stuff about CGI. CGI is... I don't know if anyone uses it anymore. It's still... It's basically server-side scripting, in a sense. But you can use like C programs and whatnot to render your pages. Nowadays, we still have server-side scripting, but people use things like nodes, and I guess some people use Python too. PHP is still around. Yeah. I don't know if anyone uses actual CGI outside of a few very small applications. Fun stuff. One of the stream ideas that I had in mind, I don't know how well this is going to work because I don't have any ideas, is that we would make a web page, one in modern HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but also the same thing in ancient HTML, CSS. Well, I guess CSS didn't exist back then. But yeah, in very old HTML. Like learning about older technologies. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to do to learn about older stuff. One, not only to appreciate all the nice things they have now, but also because sometimes older technologies had ideas that that are still good, and that you can. It basically gives you a bad words. Hold on, I gotta drink water here. And I don't think my mute button works right now. Yeah, older tech is often closer to what's actually going on because they used to have fewer abstractions because they had to work closer to the machine. In part because of technical restrictions. Like they didn't have as many resources back then, so they had to really optimize everything. But also because as more time goes on, the more tools you build, and the easier it is to abstract things. But back then, you know, not a lot of tools, so you're kind of forced to work with lower level stuff. So I really don't know what's going on here. So if Chrome, or Chromium I guess in this case, close enough, is seeing the proper CSS, or rather has the CSS properly applied, then what's wrong? I'm gonna try that again. Alright, so for some reason it didn't work when we did it on the body earlier. We're going to try that again, and hopefully it was just something that I did wrong. uncaught. Type error, cannot read properties of null reading client type. The node to be removed is not a child of this node. Not iterable. Okay. So that is, I think, probably because of something that's happening inside of here. Whatever. There might be some weird stuff going on with Chrome, or rather YouTube, and I don't know, making sure that nothing improper is in the body or whatever. Who knows? So that's a service worker. Actually, I'm surprised that that, as far as I can tell, Chromium doesn't have a way to. It doesn't have a like a CSS scratch pad like Firefox does. I haven't found one anyway. It's very useful. Workspace, experiments, ignore list, devices, locations, references. No, nothing. No, there was another one here. More tools. CSS overview. Quick source. Down here. I can access that. Okay, that's not it. Sensors, web audio, layers, media, layers. Well, that's not quite what we want. No, that's not it either. Okay. Well, that's also new. I haven't seen that one before. I mean, it says it's experimental, so makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Overrides. Override network requests and web content. I don't think that's what we're looking for. Nope. Snippets. Maybe the snippet is. No, that's just JavaScript code. Workspace. To sync edits directly to the sources you develop. Well, that sounds actually pretty useful, but that's not what we're working on here. So I guess it just doesn't. Oh, but there's an override content, I guess. If we go over here, Polymer.js, nope. YTC. I can't find a way to add a new file here. Okay, so I guess you just can't. Well, that's fine. But the main idea here is that we injected a style sheet, and it still worked. So if it still worked, then that means that all the selectors, at least the important ones, are still there. So it's not a selector problem as far as I can tell. Okay, let's try for something simpler then. We take the overlay browser. We do star, meaning all elements. Background color, say FF00FF, magenta. Important. To attempt to override everything. We should see most of the stuff be magenta here. Nothing. Okay. That could potentially be because the star is very low in specificity. So it's already from Gen Chat too. Yeah, the star is very low in specificity. So if anything higher in specificity, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. There are certain levels of what's called specificity in CSS. The star is the lowest one, and then you have tags, and you have classes, and then you have IDs, or classes and attributes, and then you have IDs. And so if there is a rule that has higher specificity than another rule, then that rule with a higher specificity will override. So it's just not letting OBS load in the CSS. That's entirely possible, because if we did, okay, so it depends on where the CSS is being put in for OBS. If OBS is putting it in the body, earlier in Chrome we saw that it was getting rid of it. So let's see what happens if we do this in Firefox instead. We have it at the very end here. What is this? Action control panel 0.5? Oh no, this is all okay. That's fine. Those are some add-ons that I have. Okay, so we add a style thing here. With any luck, we'll see the same thing we saw in Chrome, where the page just crashes. And it does crash. Yeah, this is incredibly weird. But in a way, I don't think this is it, because otherwise we'd see a crash in OBS as well. Alright, we're gonna reload that. I'm gonna try putting it in the head, and we saw earlier that this worked in Chrome. So it works if it puts it in the head. So then the question is, where does OBS put its style sheets? Is it putting it in the head? Is it putting it in the body, or is it just outside in the browser? Unless OBS defaults to browser CSS for error case, or for in the way. Yeah, for error cases. I don't think OBS will be able to detect with reliability that a page is crashed. It can tell because there will be an error that propagates upwards, right? Because we see it here, right? Do that again. But the browser usually doesn't handle those. Style sheet could not be loaded. Style sheet. The browser doesn't usually do anything if the page crashes, because it's not really its thing. It's outside of the scope for it to handle. Wait, what? Regular divs work? That doesn't crash the so a style tag does. Background color magenta important. Alright, what's wrong with this style sheet? I don't think there's anything wrong with this style sheet. Other than maybe these, but it shouldn't matter. Let's try that again. Maybe in Firefox. So as you can see here, we do have the style tag working. This is really weird. So we can add a style tag in the body anyway. What? I'm gonna refresh here because I don't know what's going on. Earlier when we tried to edit this as HTML, for some reason, we try to copy this into here. So let's try to. Oh, I think it was just too much for it to handle. That's why. That makes sense. I think we might have overloaded. No, that doesn't make sense. Because we saw in Twitch when we tried to put it in. What I was saying there was that maybe the it got to be too much for the text box to handle. Why is this not working? I'm trying to copy to the end. And now it works. Sure. But this is a little bit wonky here. Because that should not look like that. The syntax highlighting here. But also I don't really have a choice, I think, because this looks correct. Style here, body overhead, overflow hidden, whatever. That looks like all correct CSS, and the syntax highlighting is all correct too, except for this one. This one doesn't seem like it's correct. By the way, I do see that you're all saying you don't know anything about anything. If you have any questions, and you have been asking questions, I suppose, but if you have any questions, do feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them. Why is this broken? It should look like that. So comments in CSS, oh no, it does look like that. Comments in CSS look like this. They start with the with /* and end with /*. So anything here is all ignored by the parser, or by the. I think it is by the parser. So basically you can write almost whatever you want in here. And it'll be ignored. We're going to try different methods. There is something you can do here, s equals document.create elements style. So now we create a style tag. Style.text content is equal to this entire thing. Not style. S. We called it S. So now we have a style tag that contains this stuff inside. And then we can append to the body, documents.body.append child S. Now we have S there. and you notice it did change, which means the style did apply. And this is all that stuff there too. Let's make that a little bit more obvious. Use the other one. I just realized I forgot to put out the go live tweet. Oh well. I gotta figure out how to automate that, because half the time I forget. S equals document.create elements. So create element here just creates an element with this tag name here. And certain, I think you're restricted to a very specific set of elements for it to really have proper functionality. So in this case, we're creating a style tag, and then we have text content, which is what's contained inside. And we're going to put this in, then we're going to append it to the body. Basically what we did earlier, and that works. Okay, now we figure out how OBS injects scripts, styles. OBS browser source. Browser source is one of the most versatile sources available on OBS. It's quite literally a web browser that we can add directly into OBS. This allows you to perform all sorts of custom layout, image, video, and even audio tasks. Anything you can program to run in a normal web browser within reason can be added directly to OBS. Alright, local file, URL with height, custom CSS. Default sets background transparency, remove margins on the body, hides the scroll bar, the page renders larger than the viewport width. That's the scroll bar there. Chrome embedded framework, that's what the name of it is. As browser source based on the Chrome embedded framework, any CF flags can be passed from the OBS Studio shortcut. Oh, interesting. The Chrome or the OBS Studio shortcut. So you can run OBS with these flags and it'll forward them to the embedded framework, which means you can actually get it to use cookies, probably. Well, we're not here to find that out anyway. But that's interesting. But this also doesn't tell me where this is. So we're gonna go on GitHub. We're gonna try to find the. We're gonna do a bit of a deep dive into OBS and see if we can find the browser source, which might actually be in a separate repo. Okay, so this is that repo. Enable service integration, browser docs. For Wayland. Oh, there's not support on Wayland. Okay. Plugin included by default and the official Flatpak. I'm not using the Flatpak. Yes, bindings. Oh, I see. This is how you write stuff. Make that a little bit bigger. This is how you write stuff so that you can interact with OBS. That'll be good to know for the future. But we are interested here if we're looking into the style CSS. So we're going to look for custom CSS. We're going to do this inside of outside of a terminal because this is going to be a lot easier. I'm gonna grab my password here. Don't worry about that. OBS browser. I showed nothing nothing important there anyway, so I should be fine to leave in. Create the tags file so we can jump around a lot easier. We are going to be looking for the string here, custom CSS. So hopefully that'll give us at least some sort of identifier that we can find so that we have access to this this text box, and we can figure out where the text box goes, and then hopefully we can figure out where all those styles go. Give me a bit. Welcome back. I'm not gonna say what that was, but if you go back in the VOD and figure it out, you'll know why I had to do that. Okay, what do we have here? Oh yeah, so for those of you going to bed, good night, sleep well. Don't let me keep you here. The VOD will be up, intact. I will say intact. I don't know if we're gonna end up finishing this before the end of the stream. Maybe we won't. I don't know. It is getting kind of late here too, but we'll see where we can. We'll see what we can get. Okay. Trying to find out where it was. Not this one, not this one. I'm looking for custom CSS. Work early tomorrow, so I'm gonna dip before I get distracted again. Good luck with bug hunting. Well, thank you, and good luck with work tomorrow. Okay, so we have CSS equals custom CSS. Usually this means here that this kind of file format here, they have this identifier here, and then this is the actual string that they use. But unfortunately, it's CSS, which means this could be pretty much anything. There's a ton of stuff here. Okay. Actually, the rest of this looks like browser stuff. So this is what we're looking for here. There's only one. There's only one instance, so we can do CSS. Property, object, property, add text, props. Oh, no, I'll go back. OBS text multi-line. And we're looking for a CSS property in lowercase. I'm assuming that's what this is anyway. I think that would make sense. Glenn, welcome in. Trying to fix the chat CSS here. It seems to work fine in the browser when we apply the style sheet, but for some reason OBS is not picking it up. So as much as OBS has not changed on my side, we're gonna go. We're right now digging into the OBS browser plugin source, like source code, to see where things might be going wrong. Every other site seems to work that we tried. Well, at least we tried Twitch chat, and it seems like it's applying properly there. So it's something that's definitely specific to YouTube. Set text monospace true, add boolean shutdown. No, that's not quite right. And that's all there, and then we're looking for CSS all lowercase like that. Browser client css.length. I think this might be what we're looking for here. We have default CSS. OBS data set default string CSS to that. That's fine. Get data string CSS. That's what we're looking for. NCSS. Go back to that. Browser source HPP, which is not what we're looking for. We do want CPP. So HPP here, in C and C++ sources, you tend to have two file types. You have the header files, which declare what kind of what kind of functions, what kind of variables are available outside for other files to use. And then you have the actual implementation files that contain the implementation for those. You generally want to be importing header files when you're importing to other files. I don't remember the exact reason, but I think it has to do with like variable hiding, because when you import stuff, it's basically a copy and paste of the file. So if you have variables that have the same name across two files, and you end up importing the implementation rather than the header file, then you have a conflict, and compilation will fail. We're looking for CSS here. Okay, that is correct. And CSS is equal to that. And then CSS is equal to NCSS. And this looks like it's part of... nothing. Nothing useful. If settings. So where is this coming from? Oh, don't tell me this is global. Okay, let's go to HPP. OBS browser source.hpp. Yeah, there it is. That's a global global variable CSS. For the browser source. Wait, is this a browser source? I guess that would make sense. Yeah, void browser source. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So we have here a CSS property on the browser source. Browser source. What does C++ call it? Classes, I think. So it's setting the property for that class. Okay, so what uses this? Find this here. Browser client, I think, is probably what we're looking for. As we can see here, we have a BS for browser source and then .css.length. So it's probably doing something there. We're going to take this. We're going to find what this is doing. We're going to find the CSS. So if frame is main and BS CSS.length, so if there is a CSS, if there is CSS put in, then we encode the CSS using the CEFURI encode. Which I think is part of the Chrome embedded framework. URI encode. C a string and boolean use plus. Okay, so this is just URI encode and converting plus or not plus. So be %20s, sure, fine. The URI encoded CSS, and that is because document.create element style obs.css.inner HTML, where this is that one. Well, let's decode URI component for this. Okay, sure. And then it injects it to the heads and appends child's OBS CSS. So that's what we did earlier. Oh, there's a very subtle difference here. So one difference we have here, as opposed to what we had in the browser, was that this is executing JavaScript, whereas we were putting in nodes directly. Now our stuff executed JavaScript too, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the same. No, I don't think decode URI component has disappeared. I don't think this is wrong. And I don't think this is wrong. It's because it clearly does work. The question is, does execute JavaScript? Is YouTube doing something to disallow scripts to be run? I don't know how that's possible. The append line starts your source code, then call your execute JavaScript, and it'll work even after the page is loaded. Well, the funny thing is we haven't changed anything here, so it's definitely something on YouTube's side. So this is all compiled into OBS, which means none of this code has changed on my side. So something with YouTube is preventing this. My best guess now is something on YouTube side is preventing this script from running. Now I don't know if that's actually possible. Now I gotta find the where's frame? What is frame here? CEF frame. I'm gonna look at what this is, and we're gonna see what the execute JavaScript function does, and what all those extra parameters are. So execute JavaScript. Execute a certain JavaScript code in this frame. The script URL parameter is the URL where the script in question can be found. If any, renderer may request this URL to show the developer the source of the error. The start line parameter is the baseline number to use for error reporting. So const you have a string.js code, script URL. I think we left as null or empty. Okay, empty string, and then start line 0. Makes sense. So start at the beginning, use this code here. And so that should just execute inside of the frame. Now, whether this runs too late or too early, I don't know. It says onload end, so this should be running... Where is this called? That is a good question. When is this called? Because this is a declaration, this is a declaration. All four of these are declarations. So then it must be a CEF thing. Called when the browser is done loading a frame. So this is probably on sometime, or this is probably on load the events. The load events, like this thing here, which means all of the proper HTML should already be in there, and this should just work. I don't know if there's anything we can do about this, because it... No, this can't be right either. Hold up. Wait a minute. Do you see this blue bar here? We're gonna do this. This blue bar here is not part of YouTube. This is part of the add-on, what do you call that? Name's blanking out on me. HyperChat. And by the way, if you don't have HyperChat, it is worth getting because it reduces the resources used by YouTube Chat, especially on faster chats. Because apparently the way that YouTube implements chat is somewhat inefficient, and it does a re-render for every time a chat window comes in, which is not good. But anyways, so yeah, HyperChat can run. And those kinds of scripts are all similarly injected, I think. But maybe this is being run by the browser. Interesting. I don't think this is anything wrong with OBS, because like I said, this works on other sites. and I haven't updated OBS since the problem happened. So it has to be something that YouTube's doing. But then the question is, how? Okay, so if we take this, and then we open it up in a Vim window here. And then we strip out this bit so that we're just left with, I'm gonna put that somewhere where you can actually see. And then we put in this bit here. I'm going to turn this into JavaScript for a little bit. That. Like this. Like this. Okay, so that's all in JavaScript now. And then, oh, I missed one here. That should be that. That should be that. URI encoded CSS is equal to this massive thing. Not that one. This one. Okay. So for the most part, this is actually all that we need, I think. All right, let's make this a little bit closer. Let's make this a little bit closer to what we actually should get. So if we do URI encodes, we copy that. So one utility you can use in the browser console is the copy function. It's a built-in for the console, and it copies the arguments to the clipboard. At least it's there on Firefox. Pretty sure that was in Chrome too, but okay, so that should be that. I think that's correct. Oh no, it's decode URI components. So actually I want encode URI components too. Wrong one. Undo. So now we have this. I'm just going to assume this is having trouble with syntax highlighting, and that is actually okay. Then now we put this into here, into the chat window. Well, we're going to use Chrome because CEF is Chrome. I'm going to put this in here, and it should just work. Aha! There it is. This document requires trusted HTML assignment, whatever this means. Uncaught type error, failed to set the inner HTML property on element. This requires trusted HTML assignment at anonymous. So this is why it's failing, because whatever trusted HTML is, we don't have. We gotta figure out what this is. We're getting there. The trusted HTML interface of Trusted Types API represents a string that a developer can insert into an injection sink that it will render it as HTML. These objects are created via trusted type policy.createHTML and therefore have no constructor. The value of a trusted HTML object is set when the object is created, cannot be changed by JavaScript as there is no setter exposed. But what does this mean? How do we use this thing? You know what? I wonder. How many might have already figured this out? YouTube. No, nobody's figured this out yet. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so to recap, assuming that this is what we're getting. Somebody said it earlier. It seems like OBS can't inject. Or, hold on, we're gonna test something out first before we say anything. We're gonna go back to Twitch. Oh, back to Twitch chat. I'm gonna figure out where I put this thing. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna go back to Twitch chat here. And we're gonna copy the same thing that we have here. I'm gonna try to put it in here. Because otherwise this is just a quirk of Chrome. I don't think it should be though, because it's create element style here. Okay. Well, a moment of truth. We're gonna enter some stuff here. Actually, I can't put anything in here because that's. Am I logged in? I think I'm logged. No, I am logged in because I have infinite puzzle pieces. I'm gonna do more tests here. Test. So the hypothesis is YouTube is doing something weird, and it's not letting OBS inject a new HTML element. We should, if that is the case, then Twitch, because we were able to see the CSS show up in Twitch, we should see this just go through as we expect it to. And we do. Okay. So YouTube made a change on their side that requires some sort of trusted HTML assignment, whatever, that I personally have never seen. I don't know what this is. Now we figure out how to do this. And I think this then would require a patch on the OBS side, maybe? We'll figure out what this is first. When you default, which is going to disable trusted HTML assignment CSP. It's CSP protection, of course it is. CSP is something that lets the browser be a little bit more strict about how it handles resources. Content security policy. And it basically means that the browser locks down the web page a little bit more than if it didn't have CSP in it. And so this prevents things like cross-site scripting, which is desirable, and data injection attacks too, which is desirable. But it also can impede things like this, like legitimate things like this, where we're trying to restyle the chat. And so, then the question is, what is YouTube doing to do that? One thing we can check is look at the curl, look at the headers, and see if there's any ESP thing in here. Same origin trial, report 2, access is cookies from No, it's probably fine. Should probably figure out what this this trusted site thing. No. Way below isn't going to disable protection. We are creating a trust policy that is going to return the same as the inputs. Escape HTML policy. Force inner disallowed. But then we actually have to figure out how to get this this trusted types. Ah, part of the browser. Okay. Create policy force inner. I wonder why Firefox isn't, hold on. That is another question. Why is Firefox not enforcing this? It's a CSP thing. We don't need this one anymore. So, if we go into Firefox, do the same thing here. We do that, and then we put this in. It works because for some reason it's not enforcing certain policies, or does it even have this feature yet? That is a good question. Does it have this feature? No, Firefox just does not have it. That's why it works in Firefox. Okay. So we definitely have to try this out in Chromium then. So we're going to copy this. And then prepare your HTML codes before any inputs. And so you have to make sure that inner HTML. This one. Dot create HTML. This is a patch to OBS, isn't it? Okay. It is a patch to OBS. Do I want to patch OBS right now? Because then I'd have to build it and then test it out. It would be kind of cool though. Do they require tests? I wonder about that. What kind of stuff do they have in here? Not workflows. Where are your contributor guidelines? Well, I guess we can make the patch first. And then we can deal with that. Where did I see it? Okay, so we have the script here. And then we need to do the thing that we did here, the force inner thing. Without explicitly copying and pasting the code, because I think that would be incompatible with the license technically. I have too many windows open. In that. Way below isn't going to disable protection. We're creating a trust policy that returns the same input. So this actually doesn't matter what we call it. Create policy. Oh, but this is problematic. This is a problem. Oh, no, actually, no, this is fine because it's Chrome embedded framework, which means we're guaranteed to have this here. We don't have to think about cross-browser compatibility because we are working with explicitly one browser. So this is fine. Trusted types. Where's the search button? I'm looking for trusted types that create policy. Yeah, so create policy. And then you can do create HTML, and then so the policy name here in the policy options, create HTMLs, input args, callback function in the form of a string that contains code to run when creating a trusted HTML object. So we can actually call this whatever we want. Probably don't want to do toEscape. Let's just call it HTML. The script plus equals const. I don't know what to call this thing. I don't want to call it escape HTML policy. I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is escape in there. Sure. Is equal to trusted types dot or window dot trusted types dot create policy. And this is C++, so I think string concatenation. I believe. Well, actually, no. C style strings, you can do this. In C++, do you do that? I don't remember. It's been a while since I've worked with C++. W3 Schools has C++. String literal concatenation. Okay, so the usual way. Dot create policy. This an object, and then you have I have too many tabs open. Alright, I pinned it, right. We can call it whatever we want. I guess forcing is fine. And some sort of object. So this has to be in a string, this has to be in a string. This is way too long. I don't think they have anything here that's more than 80. So I guess we'll bring it up here. Break that up there. and then add a plus, then add a thing here, force inner, then break it up here. And writing JavaScript inside of another language. Then we're gonna have one here, and then I guess we have another one here. And we can have this going like that. Do this all in one line, it should be fine. And then we have create HTML. HTML, and just return HTML. Okay, so that should be fine. And this is less than 80, and it wraps okay. Yeah, that should be fine. They do the same thing here too. Pen OBS CSS. Then we need to make sure that when we do our decode URI components, we do raw inner HTML policy. Here, dot create HTML, and then we gotta wrap this thing. And then we decode URI components. We do this. I think that's plenty clean, probably. I don't know. Do you think they would want to do it this way instead? Maybe. Okay, that is probably going to work. Now I gotta figure out how to run this thing, and then use it in OBS, which is gonna be the hard part. OBS browser is what we're looking at here. And actually, I did want to make sure I hadn't signed into here. That's what I put this in for. I now have duplicate tabs. That's okay. That is GPL 2. Is it 2 only? Not 2 or later? No, I suppose it doesn't actually matter. Okay, whatever. Plugin including by defaults provides a global object, allows access to some OBS specific stuff. Descriptions for the events found here, sure. Building OBS browser cannot be built standalone as part of OBS Studio, but following instructions will enable browser source on all 3 platforms. Both build browser and CFEF root dir are required. Oh great, this means we have to build all of OBS. Which, actually, there is... this. Like OBS Studio Git, which is probably what we want. We just make a package build. We can build this thing and then... I don't think this one actually has the browser source enabled. If building with the browser source option. This includes steps to download, extract, CF wrapper, required, make, whatever. Linux. It doesn't say anything in here. Getting started with OBS Studio development. Contributing guide, this is what I'm looking for. So, Compiling and building OBS Studio, install instructions we got there. For access for all versions. Virtual camera, loop back, I already have all that. Bug tracker, Discord server. Probably worth looking in here to see if anyone's got on YouTube. I see nothing. Okay. Development chats, development forums, general guidelines, the English as a common language, sure. Templates for pull requests and issues must be properly filled out. Are expected to abide by the OBS project code of conduct, which I'm sure I have no issues with. Okay. Pretty standard stuff. Commit guidelines. Standard 50, 72, up to 72 columns. Make sure commit titles are always present tense. Yeah. Okay. Standard stuff as well. So OBS FFM PEG. Yeah, machine learning policy. Sure. Discord GG, maybe consider going in there. We gotta figure out how to build this thing first. Plugin templates. We don't need that. Licensing, GPL v2. Sure. How do you build this thing? What does it say here? Oh, I guess we have to go into... Okay, fine. Okay. Debian-based build instructions. There's our Arch builds. No. Okay. EF browser. CF root gear. I see. Gotta make sure it's in there. So then, does this mean that we have this here? CF. CF minimal OBS bin. I wonder if it's going to be easier for us not to do that. All these big projects are always kind of difficult to work with. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, well, I'll just follow the instructions here then. We get the code. You need to install the build dependencies on your distribution before following the steps above. Sure, you can build Linux portable modes, installs all the files in isolated directory, which is what we want. If building with a browser source, then we do this. CF binary. No. Yes. No. This doesn't make any sense. How do you build with the OBS browser? Both build browser and CF root gear are required. Okay, whatever. Let's follow the instructions and see what we get. I'll clone this. And I get the password again. Okay, so now we have this cloned OBS video. And then we need the CF minimal bin. Actually, no, we can just do this. Do this. Oh, wait a minute. No, we skipped some steps. We're going to take this. Okay, that's going to download stuff. That's the CF binary. And then we're going to extract it. It's now extracted. So then we do the recursive clone. Recursive clone because I assume there's going to be some... Oh. Ah, I see. OBS browser is probably one of the here it is. Yes, there it is. So we're gonna have to make our patch against that. If I can find where we are. Okay, so this is that. And then I'm just gonna put that in there so that we can figure out how to build this thing. Or like when we go ahead and build it. We're gonna go into OBS Studio. And then we're going, actually let's build this thing in plain first to make sure that we can build it. And then we can go ahead and make the patch. I'm gonna pin that. And here's hoping I still have the dependencies installed. Let me cd into OBS Studio. Create a build directory and cd into it. Now we do this cmake CF root dir is correct. Do not install here. Install it in /build. Let's put it there maybe. Okay, so now this is building. You know, I had never expected that we'd be doing a C++ on the channel, but I guess here we are. Build files have been written to there. And then we make install. I'm going to turn this into nproc instead. We make the good use of our CPU. Actually, that might affect streams. So let's keep it at 4. J here is the level of parallelism. So how many cores, CPU cores it'll use. Programming streams will themselves into existence. Yeah, actually, you know, solving problems like this is definitely a good way to get into it. I've always said that I would like more programming content. It's just it's more difficult to produce programming streams than the other types of streams. And so when we have problems like this to deal with, as you said, they will themselves into existence. I'm hoping this just builds. At which point we can create, or we can run OBS for testing, and then we can apply our patch. And hopefully it doesn't mess with my current config. But if this is a portable build, then it should be fine. %. Not enough time for swords on chairs though. But actually, maybe a bit of time. But I don't have just a second person to do that with. OBS WebSockets. I need to find a good OBS remotes. I've been using one OBS web remote, but it's not very full featured, and I think I could probably work with something that's a little bit more full featured. I don't remember what it's called though. I'd have to look it up in my bookmarks. But the WebSocket is very useful. And actually, I might consider one of these days, maybe we'll write something that reads chat and then interacts with OBS. %. Now, with any luck, the next time we build this, we won't have to build most of these things, because most of them wouldn't have changed. You know, it's funny when I say short streams and then they don't end up being short. We're now approaching standard length. Linking shared module OBS WebSockets. Okay. While we wait for that, I do have to wonder if so some projects require you to have an issue first before you put in a pull request. Okay, nobody's put anything in for this issue yet either. I think we're probably okay. Oh, actually, somebody's already done this. Create text node for intersearching styles. You know what? This is probably a better. How can I create text node? Yeah, this is actually probably a better solution. Well, it's a good exercise anyway. Let's go through with it, but this is exactly the fix that we need for what we have, what we're looking for rather. Yeah, because that there's the error that we're seeing. This is YouTube chats. Has this been tested? Seems to occur only for some accounts, not all users. Interesting. Bug fix, tweak. While this may be a sufficient response to the current situation where YouTube comments cannot be played, I think we should check to see if we can guarantee that it'll work with other CSP policies applied. So in my opinion, this should actually work because CSS is not HTML, and putting in a text node like this, I think we did actually do something similar, because we did text content instead, and this should work. Actually, I'm gonna go and watch this one because this is relevant to us. Subscribe. Okay, so now we have this. Then we're going to go into build. And then hope this doesn't mess anything up with my current OBS. Actually, I'm going to go make a snapshot of this of my file system first, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Local bin. I know you can't see anything. Oh, actually, you know what? It's not that bad. I can show it here. So I have this script that snapshots the system. Although apparently I don't snapshot the home directory in here, so we're gonna have to do something different. But we can use the same. I don't have sudo on this account. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this off screen. But basically what I'm going to be running here is this here. But instead of slash, it's going to be slash home because it's my home directory. And then home snapshots and then the current date. Basically copy this. My home directory is running with btrfs, butterfs, which has snapshotting built into it. So it means that in theory, and I did struggle with this a little bit, I think, when I had issues. In theory, I should be able to recover from the snapshot. Oh. Operation not permitted. Why? Oh, it's sudo. I forgot sudo. That's why. Okay, so now I have a snapshot of this. If something goes wrong, then I can just restore it. Although I'm thinking about it, maybe I should have just copied over the OBS directory. But I think it's probably easier this way though. Okay. What are we doing? Right, we're running the OBS. Launch anyway, I know what we're trying to do. Alright, so now we have... This is so going to mess things up. So now we have this. We have the overlay browser. We haven't put in our own patch yet, so this is not going to really do anything. Oh man, this is gonna mess things up. You know what? It's okay. I can recover from this. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save this scene collection before anything goes wrong. I'm gonna export this. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't done this sooner. 2024 08 08. Okay. What's this one here? Then we open up the CSS for the overlay version so we can see it better. Actually, no, we don't need to do that because the CSS is already here. So it means that whenever we start this up next, it should just work. Because now we add in our patch. If I can find that window. So OBS Studio, OBS, no, plugins, OBS browser, and then we do git patch, git an. I think it was git an. And this is our patch here. Or not am. It was. Yeah, it was git patch. Was it just patch? Oh, it was git apply. That's what it was. Okay, this is correct. So now we go back into here. So now we patch the code there. We can go back to our installation instructions and build it again. In this case, do we need to do CMake again? Probably not. But it probably doesn't hurt to do it. Go into the build directory, do the CMake thing again. And then we do the make command. Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing that we tried to run this, because we submitted this as is, something would have gone wrong. Okay, so this is const binary operator. That's, I thought that worked. Does that not work? Plugins, OBS browser, browser clients.cpp. Okay, am I missing something here? Because I swear this should just work. Because that's what they're doing here. I think. What is the other person over here doing? Oh, okay. So it is like C, in that if you have string literals, you just leave this off. Alright, well, good to know. Good to know. Okay, I've lost the window. Oh, no, it's up there. Right. Go back here. Up here. We make that again. That should now pass. So the syntax in C and apparently in C++, which makes sense because C++ can accept C syntax to some extent, is for concatenating string literals, you just put the two string literals next to each other, with no operator in between. And this is the case because it allows macros to read better, I think. So macros that have strings, or that hold strings, you can just put the two macros together, and it'll concatenate the string as one. Or something like that. I don't work in C++ or C. Okay, so we built that. Now we wanted to go into the builds directory to try to run it. Builds, okay, well, I think we actually have to go into there. CD, push D. Launch anyway. Well, something's not right. It was very close. It's not quite there yet. So this one we should see. Actually, this one isn't even. Yeah, that one's not even applying. I was just making sure that this is what we have there. So it's clearly building this thing because it is like we had the error, so it's definitely building this. So in our HTML policy, create HTML to do this. Window trusted types create policy. Do I have work in the morning? Yes, but it's okay. I usually staying up around midnight here is not too unusual for me. So I think if I go on for a little, I probably won't go on for more than half an hour, but yeah, this is fine. At the same time, you know, somebody else has gotten something that works, so I'm not too bummed if we can't get this working. Although it would be nice to have it working on stream. Uncaught syntax error after argument list. Oh, okay, that's probably it. We made a syntax error somewhere. Do our parentheses line up? They probably don't. At least that's what this is saying. Missing left or close parenthesis after argument list this. But our parentheses do line up? Question mark? That lines up with that. This lines up with this. Or have that, and we have this. This lines up here. We have this one lining up here. Have this one, this line where we didn't touch it. Am I missing something? Those parentheses all do line up. Okay. I'm gonna stash this and then see if it still happens even without it. Launch that anyway, and then we still see the error here, then we know that we didn't introduce that. Although there's a good chance that we won't see it here. We gotta get rid of these DVD filter ones. Not quite. This document requires trusted HTML site. Aha. Yeah, so this is what we were seeing in Chrome earlier. Good confirmation that this is indeed what we're seeing. Okay, so something about our change introduced a syntax error. I'm not quite sure where. So it used to be decode URI component with one, and now we have decode URI component, but we also have create HTML here. We have no \ns, so that should be fine. Encoded CSS. Oh, did we get rid of the encoded CSS bits? No, because that's over here. Alternatively, fetch. Because this is in the repo, we can just take this. Do I have the GitHub? Please tell me I have the GitHub CLI. I do not. Git fetch origin. Where was it? Okay, they don't have regular instructions. I could also do it the easy-ish way where I take this. No. I GitHub that pull request local. There's a way you can do it with just fetching. / pull something something. Refs pull. And this is 449. Okay, please stop losing tabs. This one, I'm gonna pin this one too. 449. Gotta do this again. All right, grab the password. Did I get rid of that? Surely not. Oh, right. No, I'm missing something. No, it's /head. Yeah, head. Okay. So there's this. And now we can go / git checkout fix OBS CSS. So now we should have the codes from this. Then we're going to figure out, we're going to make sure that this works. And then we're going to figure out why ours doesn't work. Launch anyway. So I expect to see our styles being done over here once this loads in. Aha, okay. So that patch definitely works, at least for YouTube chat. This is the magenta that we had put in earlier. So that works. Why doesn't our code work? Where is our... Where is our syntax error? Because I think they all do line up. Unless they don't. Let's look at this this patch again, just make sure that we're not doing any weird... So this and this are all together. This one using a pen child, so this one actually has 3 of them. But we're not doing that. We're doing something different. We're doing create HTML, decode URI components. So, all right, we go back to our script here. Have you printed this build string to see what it looks like? That is a good idea. We're gonna go look for a C++ interpreter. Now we're gonna take this. I'm gonna put this in here. Standard string scripts. We do this, encoded URI CSS. We're going to pretend that that includes we're gonna make that an empty string for now. I think that might be okay. Then we are going to log out. Let's say log out. That's JavaScript stuff. Yeah, we're going to print that out to the standard out, and we get this. So trusted types, create policy. We're gonna move this into Vim, just so we have something nice to look at. Set ft equals JavaScript, and then that is wrong. That certainly looks wrong in terms of... haha, there it is. Syntax highlighting. This should not be here. Okay. So that should not be there. We had a stray single quotes, causing the rest of the stuff to be a string, which means that this this close parenthesis was not actually being recognized because it was part of the string instead of being in syntax. Good call, good call. Okay, so now that should build. And we can see back into the thing, and then we can start running it. A moment of truth. Hey, there we go. Now I might consider actually submitting this as an alternate patch just under the comments or something. Because there were some concerns about this not being, potentially not being valid. But it probably works. It probably works. Probably patch latest version is probably fine. Strict dynamic with nonce. I have nothing, like I have no experience with CSP, so I don't actually know if this is any good, or if this the patch that they have here is any good. But Even though we're not really going to contribute this, we did get to the root of why OBS was, or yeah, why YouTube chat was failing. So I think we got somewhere. This does mean though that I will eventually have to update OBS. Or actually I could just patch it locally and then just use it here. You know what, let's do that. I'm probably going to, the next time I stream, whenever that is, I'm hopefully going to have a fixed chat. And it's because I patched it with, well, maybe this patch here, but also maybe this patch here. It doesn't really matter. They both do the same thing. But yeah, there we go. Went from a bug to going through OBS sources, which I didn't actually expect to go through here. Yeah, I do actually want to, one of the stream ideas that I had to do in the future was to do like an open source, like find an open source bug and then contribute a patch to it. I guess this kind of counts. Maybe we'll do some more in the future. So if you have any bugs to that you think will be interesting to look at, feel free to send them in the programming channel in the Discord, which is right here. We do have a programming channel plus a bunch of other channels that may be of interest to you, like transport, or as we usually, one of our regular stuff is music making. There's a music making channel in there too. But yeah, there we go. We found a bug, we debugged it, figured out what was wrong, and we fixed it. So in summary, for those of you who missed the rest of the stream, it seems like YouTube implemented a new policy, security policy, it seems like maybe a week ago, that caused the OBS injection method to fail. And so the fix here is to the fix here is to write the injection in a way that conforms to that policy. Does transport include automotive? Technically it does. It's more focused around things like cycling and walkability and good urban planning and all that. But getting around by car is definitely on topic. Okay, well, is there anything else I need to? I think this is probably it. So next stream. I can find my. Where is this? I have a thing here for the next. Oh, there it is. Next stream window. I don't know when the next stream is going to be. This was Gorilla Week. I wasn't actually expecting to stream today, but here we are. At almost 3 hours. It's good. It's good to come back. I'm not going to promise anything, but I did expect this week to be all games. There might be another game happening. There might be a game happening this later this week. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's it. If you're not in the Discord, the streams will be posted there as well as on Twitter. So be sure to follow one of those or here on YouTube, because I think YouTube automatically gives 30-minute updates or 30-minute alerts when it actually works. All right, whatever. Let's we'll end. So thanks everyone for coming to the stream. Watch out for the next one. Yeah, I hope you learned something. All right, night chat. Bye.